Hi, this is Roland Yarborough with Away From It All TV. Thanks for joining me today. In our last video, we talked about ferrocerium rods in our first installment of Fire University, the latest series here at Away From It All TV. We gave you a very introductory 101 basic class on what ferrocerium rods are, how they function, what they're made up of, and how to use them. Today we're going to get a little bit more in depth into the other half of the ferrocerium rod, and that is what you use to strike it with. It's an area I think a lot of people don't understand as well as they should, and it's critical to your success in making fire with a ferro rod. Stick with me, we'll be right into it after this. Let's start with this small ferrocerium rod that we talked about in our last video. This is about a $25 to $35 rod, but it has a very small striker. The rod's only about an inch long, inch and a quarter, a 1/8 inch diameter. I'm going to try my best to make sparks with this, and let's see what we can do with this very small striker. You can see I'm getting some sparks, and you could start a fire with that as I did in the last video. I used this little striker to start a fire, and that's workable. But look at the difference when you use a great striker like this one. I mean, that's just peeling the ferrocerium off of that. The back of my saw blade on my multi-tool. Here we have a striker that you can buy offline, and it's just made for the purpose of striking ferro rods. And look how good, look how excellent that is. So a lot of times people go to the store and they buy a ferrocerium rod, and they get it home and it's got this little weird looking striker with it, and they just strike it, and it's real sparky and doesn't produce the globs of molten metal like they want, doesn't produce the real shower of sparks like they want. They get discouraged. Listen, most of the time it's not the ferrocerium rod. Most of the time it's the striker. Now here's the other rod. This one's only $7. We got this one from the local department store, sporting goods department, and here's how that one works. So you can see this produces a lot of nice sparks. Look at that afterburn on that one. You can make fire with this all day long, and it's only $7. That little rod's going to last a long time. Comes in a plastic housing. It's blaze orange. You can see it. It won't get lost. Moving to bigger rods, the 1/2 inch one. Let's see how this one sparks. It's got a nice striker that comes with it and a little better handhold. So let's look at that. Now you can see it produces nice sparks, but not quite the quality of some of the others. Now you can get this for anywhere from $9 up to about $19. Now if you move into a different striker, you can see that it's better, but it's still not fantastic. But you can make fire with this all day. Again, it's not the rod, it's the striker. Some are just better than others, and they may look the same, and they may even feel the same, but they're not all the same. This is the one I use on my survival knife, and again, a high quality ferrocerium rod. And if I can get a right spot, look at that. I mean, you're going to make fire all day long with that. And here's the one I carry every day, 4 inches. It's square, 3/8 inch diameter. Use a little striker for that. I mean, that just makes great sparks. You can tell that's a soft rod, high quality. Look at all those sparks coming off there, and they burn all the way to the ground down there. So all these ferro rods will work. They'll work well. They'll produce sparks. But what if you don't have a multi-tool or a striker, or didn't come with a striker? You've just got like this big one here. This is I mean, this one is obviously gonna just tear it up. You set your house on fire with that. But what if you don't have a good striker and you're out in the woods? How about a piece of flint? Let's see what that'll do. We can find a sharp edge, a nice rock. A lot of times, look at that. Now you're gonna be able to make fire with that. It's not as good as a metal striker, but that's producing a lot of sparks. What about glass? We've seen videos on the internet where people use glass to make fire, and it works very well if you can find a nice sharp piece of glass, and I'm barely even striking that. And the good part about glass is if it gets dull, reach over and get another piece. I mean, I'm barely putting any pressure on that at all, and it's just peeling the ferrocerium, so you can use glass. What if you don't have anything but an old tool you found, like a chisel a wood chisel. Look at this. I mean, that thing, the side of that wood chisel, it just tears it up. So there are a lot of things that you can use to strike a ferrocerium rod. The only requirements are that it's sharp, 90-degree spine or sharper. This wood chisel is probably the best striker I've got out here because the angle of this is actually shorter than 90 degrees. It comes to a little sharper edge. And even if it's an old railroad spike knife, as long as it's got a 90-degree spine or better, you can make sparks with it. And as long as the material it's made out of is harder than the soft metal of the ferrocerium rod, you can make sparks. In our next video, we're going to get into actually how to strike the ferrocerium rod. And I want to show you something. This, the shower of sparks that everybody loves, and shoot it at the camera, you know, that's all great. But a lot of times, that's not what you want to do. It's not always about a big shower of sparks. There are several different techniques I want to show you in our next video that may actually work better than a big shower of sparks in certain situations. So look forward to seeing you in our next video. Hey, thanks for liking and sharing the video. Subscribe to our channel, Away From It All TV. And hey, get out there, take somebody with you. Get away from it all, where dreams are restored in the great outdoors.